mudslinging so early. Who's recording? Yay! The vapors. Oh, look at all the smoke. Smoke bomb! Cut, do it again. Okay. She didn't know that like I did.
God, I wish I had a real name.
Too, I have one hell of a set of balls on me. Hey everybody, it's Lena again. Thank you for watching my channel. Today's episode is called Meet Nebula. Nebula, as you can see, is my pet python, and she's the absolute love of my life. And so if you ever hear me refer to Nebby or Nebula, this is who I'm talking about. And she's just the sweetest little boo-boo baby ever in the entire world. She is 4'1", and she's 4 years old. And she eats 3 small mice every 2 weeks. And she just loves life, and she's so pretty. And I'm going to show you something really cool. Hang on, let me see if I can find it here. She's got this one marking on her that is amazing. In case you're wondering, she is a pastel ball python, but she also carries the Wilma gene. Her sire was a pinstripe, so that means he had a stripe that went from his head all the way down to his tail. And she's got partial pinstripes. If you can see her little boo-boo baby face, she's got stripes there on that side, and then she's got stripes again on that side. But I'm looking for this one morph that she has. That's what we call these little spots here. They're called morphs. And she's got this one that is the greatest one ever. And I'm looking for it, and I kind of think I see it, but oh, I think it's on. Oh, here it is. Okay, so check this out. This is really cute. You see that? It's a perfect heart with 2 eyes. It's so cute. And then she's got another one right next to it that looks like a little butterfly. And then the next one looks like Rafiki from The Lion King a little bit. You look over there. Yes. And so it's really funny, the story of Nebula, because I actually bought her for an ex-boyfriend of mine a few years ago. I bought her from a private breeder in Spokane called it was called MC Balls. I know, it's crazy. MC Balls Python. Anyway, and that's where I got her, but I actually bought her for my boyfriend at the time. So I bought her a month before his birthday to surprise him. And I let him look at 2 different pictures, and he said that he wanted her. She was a female, and I said it was a ball python. And at first he said that he wasn't really into ball pythons because they're not very active. Well, typical ball pythons will sleep like 16, 18 hours a day and then be up for like a little bit and then go back to sleep again. Her, on the other hand, she is up for like, she's been up for, well, today she's only been up for a few hours, but she's super duper active. Like every time I look at her terrarium, she's trying to get out, she's plotting, or she'll look right at me. And she's got a wonderful personality. She loves to kiss, she loves to cuddle, she loves to watch TV. Oh, her favorite shows are Parks and Recreation and The Office. And let's see, RuPaul's Drag Races. She loves them. If you ask her what her spirit animal is, she'll say it's Ron Swanson. She is ready to overthrow the government at any given time. She's ready for it. And she's ready to look fabulous at the same time because she loves that RuPaul. Anyway, so I bought her for him. And at first everything was good, but the moment she got here, she arrived in a little bag inside a little box. And when he pulled her out, she didn't bite, she didn't hiss, she didn't do anything. She was just adorable little baby. And while he was getting her terrarium set up, she was in a little bitty ball in my hand, and she had her little tail up on her face like that. And I had her in my hand, and so I just sort of like started meditating, and would just have my eyes closed, and I was meditating. And the next thing I know, I open my eyes, and she's looking right at me like this. Right there, and I can see her little cute snoot. At the tip of their snout, they have heat pits, and it's just super cute, and it looks like little lips. See if you can see them. Let's see. Do you see your little heat pits? There they are. Those little holes right there in the front. There we go. Those are heat pits. And she looks like she's got little lips. Anyway, and it was the cutest thing ever. And I knew right then that I had a problem because it was stupid for me to buy her because we'd already had problems in our relationship. And the moment that I held her, I knew for a fact, oh my God, I can't live without her. And then I immediately thought, oh, but I can live without his 285-pound lazy pill-popping drinking ass. So I knew I had an issue. And he knew immediately that I loved her more than him. And so every time we got into an argument, we got into a fight, and like they were serious arguments. He used to steal my pills. Like, in case you guys don't know, I have 2 titanium rods and 28 bolts in my back. And before I got my back fixed, I was on a lot of medication. He used to steal them. But every time we used to get into an argument and then we would break up, he would use Nebula against me. He would take her. And because I live in the state of Washington and I'd given her to him. If you give an animal to a person, you don't always get to keep him just because you're the one who paid for him. And so because he had the terrarium and everything that he had, and I just purchased her, I had no rights. If he left, he takes her with him, and then we have to take it to civil court or small claims court. That's what it was, because an animal is seen as property. Yes, they are. They're not seen as little beings. They're seen as property. And oh my God, it caused a whole bunch of shit. But anyway, anytime he did something wrong and I break up with him, he would take her, and then it would take about an hour of me bawling, and then I'd be like, okay, fine, whatever, come back. And I'd give him all the meds that he wanted, buy him all the beer that he wanted, and so just so that me and Nebula could be together, because I totally loved her more, and I took care of her more, and I understood her. There were several times where he was like mean to her, and she didn't deserve it. She's just being a good little sneaky snake. He couldn't read her. And so anyway, then one day in meditation, I was crying and I was bawling because I'm like, I don't want him in my life anymore, but I can't live without her. And my angels told me, they said, just wait. There's going to be an opportunity. You're going to take it, and then all will be well. And so I said, okay. So a week after my lower lumbar fusion, we were staying with my dad in Orfino, and he decides to go off. He being, I won't even say his name, because he's a total piece of crap and I don't even want the name being out there. But he, douchebag we do not speak of, he decides that he's going to go off and go freaking crazy. He had an alcoholic problem and a pill popping problem, and I didn't have enough pills even though I was recovering. And he hated being in the house where my dad was because they both just like didn't see eye to eye, and it was just a big thing. Anyway, he decides to steal a bunch of my friend's daughter's meds, go freaking psycho crazy, steal all the liquor in our liquor cabinet, like, well, let's see. He drank a bottle of Ouzo, ew. He drank a bottle of sake, double ew. And then he drank a bottle of creme de menthe. Ugh. It was basically all of the cocktail mixtures you could think of, and he decided to drink them because it was all that was there, because he's a freaking alcoholic. Anyway, he decides to go all half-cocked and crazy. He starts screaming and yelling. And now what I'm not telling you about this fella is he was actually 100% possessed. Like, now that I'm a hermetic demonologist and I deal with different beings and whatnot, I know for a fact now that he was 100% possessed, and I had known it. There was an incident that happened where it made me figure everything out. But anyway, so he decides to go off on a tangent, all freaking drunk, starts growling and screaming and yelling and screaming that he wants a ride back to town and that we brought him out to nowhere, just all this crazy shit. Anyway, so right before he leaves, guess what he does? He picks up Nebula's huge terrarium, because this guy was like, he was ginormous. He was too big to fuck with. Anytime the cops get involved, they immediately put cuffs on him and tell him to sit down because he's too big to fuck with. Anyway, he took her entire terrarium outside and put it in the snow and tried to kill her. And he said that he was going to kill Nebula because he couldn't kill me. No. Even with mom half crippled, she wasn't going to let that happen. She's a good girl. Anyway, so he goes off and does that shit, puts her out. Like I said, there's like a foot of snow outside, and he puts her whole terrarium outside to try to kill her. My dad would not let me go out the front door. And so I turn around, I go into my bedroom, and I have one of those sliding windows like this, and it opened up like this much. And so I jumped out wearing a half cast and pajamas with no shoes on, jumped out, ran up to the terrarium. He had gone around to the other side of the building to grab God only knows what. And I open up the terrarium, grab her, and she was at the top trying to get heat, and there was no heat to have. So I grabbed at her, I went around the side of the house, in through the basement, and then came back up the stairs to my dad at the front door with a shotgun in his hand, pointing towards the door, and their dumbasses trying to beat the door down within an inch of our lives. And I just remember that one moment my dad looked at me and he said, "Go in the other room, I don't want you to see this." And I looked right at my dad and I said, "Hit him in the fucking head." And he looks at me and I said, "If you hit him anywhere else, he's just going to get back up. Hit him in the fucking head." And then by the grace of God, Orfino's finest show up right then and there. And then they take him off to jail. And it was totally worth it. And the last thing he said was, Lena, you C-word, you did this to me." This is totally self-imploding bullshit. I'm like, believe what you want. and he went back to prison, and now it's just me and Nebula, and we live by ourselves, and it's totally girl power, and we love it, and we watch our favorite shows, and we stay up all night, and she's so perfect. And I'm training her to read animal cards, so that way in the future when we do our live readings with Lena is on Facebook. It's a group. Go ahead and join now. Anyway, when we do our readings, she'll be able to pull people's animal spirit cards. I mean, wouldn't you want to know your animal spirit from an animal? I mean, if in China they can get those little birds to do it, why can't I get Nebula? She's way smarter than they are, huh? Oh, she's such a good girl. I'm gonna put her right. But yeah, thank you again so much for watching. This is the introduction of Nebula and how she is in my life. And she has like a 20 to 30 year lifespan. But we're going to beat that. We're going to be little old snake ladies together. And it's going to be so fun. It's going to be the best. Okay, say goodbye, Nibbies. She says, mwah. All right, and now, mwah, for me too. So thank you so much for watching, you guys. And don't forget to like and subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Or in her case, a little tail up. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you later. Mwah.